Hello everyone, what's up and welcome back to another video on my channel. If you are new here, my name is Jordan and I am a pro figure skater. I'm currently working and living on board the Adventure of the Seas with Royal Caribbean, and today I wanted to just sit down, answer some of the questions that you guys are dying to know. But yeah, that is the gist of it. You guys sent in so many questions, so thank you. That's amazing, but because of that, I don't think we'll be able to get through all of them. So I'm gonna answer the ones that I think are most commonly asked, and I'm gonna try and get through as many as I can. So if you are not already subscribed, make sure to do so. I upload every single week and kind of give you a behind the scenes of what life is like as a cruise ship crew member and entertainer, and all my other socials will be linked down below as well. So with all of that being said, let's get on into the questions. First question, how hard is it to skate on a moving vessel during rocky waters? Definitely a challenge. We get used to it, and we just kind of have to be smart. It is up to us if we want to go forward with doing a show, but we can cancel or postpone the show if we feel unsafe. Usually we would just push through and just kind of vary our elements a little bit, just adjust them accordingly so that we can still put on a really great show for the guests but also stay safe. But yeah, it can be a little bit of a challenge. It's definitely an added challenge to keep us on our toes. But not impossible. What other duties do you have on the ship besides the ice show? So we have a few different duties. The biggest one that we have is dressing and spotlighting for the production show. So this contract I decided to be a dresser, so I'm backstage with all the dancers, zipping them, hooking them, that sort of thing, so that they can make their quick changes for their show. We are also on spotlights. So on my last contract, I was spotting the production show and the aqua show. We do also run all skate sessions, so all skates is for public skating for the guests. So if you are cruising and you want to skate, we do have sessions where you can do that, and we basically set it up, run it, and break it down. And then another one of my duties is parade, but sadly we are not doing parade right now just because of COVID, I believe. I'm hoping that by the end of this contract we bring it back because I personally really enjoyed it, but parade was just like a 15-minute little thing, and yeah, right now we're not doing it, but maybe in the future. How does crew do laundry? Do you have certain days you are allowed to do it? So we do have a few different places on board that the crew can do laundry. So I go to the one on twin deck, which is nearest to my cabin, and then there is another crew laundry closer to HR. But there of course is a few different places that we can wash our clothes, and we can do it on any day at any time, so that's really nice. Oh, and also it's free, so you just have to pay for your detergent. Is it true you are not allowed off the ship until the end of your contract? How are you able to get shampoo, etc.? So right now we are not allowed shore leave. That might change, it might not change. We don't really know because things change hourly. We get new information, so I don't really know if the entire duration we won't be able to get off, but we are allowed to get off in Coco Cay. So Coco Cay is Royal Caribbean's private island in Bahamas, and that is just, it's the best. I love Coco Cay so much, and I'm so thankful that we can get off there. So we do get a little bit of time on land, and we can just relax and decompress on the beach. So if that's all I have for this contract, I'm a-okay. And as far as getting toiletries and things like that, we can order from Amazon. So there is a way for us to order stuff and then have it delivered to the ship. Is this show the same one Adventure had pre-pandemic, or is it a brand new show? This is the same exact show. This show is called Cool Art Hot Ice. We are cast 39, so it's been around for quite some time, about 20 years I want to say. How many days / time off do you get, and when do you have free time? How do you spend it? Right now our schedule is kind of all over the place because we're still trying to get into a routine and a groove of, you know, just our schedule in general. So we usually have 3 show days, and then we have our other duties on different days. So right now I don't have a full day off at any time, but I do get, you know, a couple chunks of hours here and there where I can just do whatever I want. When I do have a day off or time off, I really like to spend that time for myself. So majority of my free time, I either am hanging out with my cast and my friends on board. I also spend a lot of time on my YouTube. Editing takes up a lot of time, so I'm trying to stay on top of all my videos. And I also love to spend free time at the gym. So we do have a crew gym and we are allowed to use the guest gym, but for certain hours. How do you handle the monotony of being on a cruise for so many months at a time? This is a really great question. I don't think anyone's ever asked me this, but yes, it can get a little bit repetitive and the days can start to blend after, you know, many months on board, having the same routine, kind of doing the same thing, seeing the same people. You know, it can get monotonous, but I personally thrive on routine. Like, I am a creature of habit, so I thrive when I have a set schedule and routine and it's very repetitive. So for me, it's not an issue at all, but I do also think that you have to find like little pieces of each day that make it unique and special and different from the day before. Hi, this is my roommate. She has to put up with me. Oh, this is a good one to answer. What is the scariest thing that has happened to you or someone you know while at sea? So, a couple days ago, I want to say like 2 days ago, we had a little bit of an emergency scare. Nothing happened, everything was fine, but we just finished a show and the emergency signal went off, so we didn't know if there was a real emergency or if it was a false alarm, but it kept going over and over and over. So that was a little bit scary, so we started to prep to go to our emergency stations and respond to the alarm. But usually there's a bit of communication. We have like code words so we know what's going on. But yeah, I would say that's probably the scariest moment I've had so far, even though everything was totally fine and it was a false alarm. Our crew members forbidden from dating each other, from dating passengers. So we're not allowed to date guests. Absolutely not. That's a big no-no. No relations with guests whatsoever. But I mean, crew members can date each other if it's like your boss, your supervisor, like your manager. You can't. That's obviously, I feel like, pretty common sense. But yeah, the dating scene on board is interesting. Very interesting, but the crew members do date each other. Can you practice anytime by yourself or do you need someone with you? Does the team have all access to the ice rink or just after hours? We do have a lot of free time where we can skate on like open ice if we want, but usually the ice has to be prepared and the stage staff have to know, and like the PM, production manager, needs to know as well, so that we make sure that nothing else is going on at the same time, because they use Studio B for like other activities as well. But yeah, you can't just like head to Studio B and skate at 3 in the morning. What is your favorite food or dessert on the ship? For food in general, I think Azumi is my favorite. It's definitely my favorite specialty restaurant and it's so good. For dessert, I'd have to say there's this like chocolate cake mousse thing from Giovanni's that is just divine. I don't know what it is, but it's
royal cheesecake.
Amazing. Would you cruise as a passenger after working on a cruise ship? I think so. I think I would. I feel like it's a totally different experience. How does production deal with cast coming on and off contract while making sure the show goes on? There are a thing called handovers, which is basically a 2-week period where the cast that's currently on board and the cast coming on are both coexisting at the same time. So the new cast that just signed on, they're spending that 2 weeks rehearsing and learning the show, and the cast that's already there is finishing up their contract. So once they sign off, then the new cast is ready to start their contract, and there's never any time where a show isn't happening. So there's always like a 2-week span, at least for the ice cast. That's how it works. For production cast, I want to say they have a month on board. How do you sharpen your blades while on contract? So, somebody in our cast is designated to sharpen skates. They know how to sharpen skates. So, we actually have 2 people in the cast right now that know how to sharpen skates. So, I have Maciek do my skates because he also knows how I like them because he was on my previous contract with me on Allure of the Seas. Have you ever suffered from seasickness? I feel like people ask me this all the time. I don't know why, but no, I don't ever get seasick. And if we do, there are like seasickness pills at medical that we can take that should help. But I personally have never experienced that. Do you get seasick?
No.
No. What's the policies with YouTubing on this ship? Has it affected you or your job? Are your managers encouraging about it? On my last ship, not a lot of people knew about it besides my cast, but now it's starting to take off and everyone on board knows about my YouTube channel. It's like everyone, like all the crew and a lot of guests know, which is really nice, and everyone is super encouraging about it. So, yeah, my managers and people high up on the ship that are very important, they are very encouraging about it, which is really, really nice. So I don't have to stress about any of that. What does the interview process / getting hired look like? I can't speak for any other department besides the ice cast, but for us it's pretty cut and dry. We just send in an audition tape and a resume, and then you have a phone interview with our boss, and then you get offered the job. So there was never any live auditions. I've kind of gone through this a few times in other Q&As, but I go more in depth if you want to check them out. Do you guys eat and drink the same as the guests, or do you have different places to eat? We have a way different food arrangement situation for the crew and the guests. So we do have crew mess, which is like a crew cafeteria. Basically, there's certain hours that we can go and eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner. On Allure, it was open 24 hours, so like any Oasis class ship, the crew mess is open at all times. Here, there's specific hours, and yeah, it's definitely different than what the guests get, but we are allowed to eat at the specialty restaurants, which is really nice. We have to pay, obviously, but it's so worth it. As an ice cast member, like all the ice cast members can eat in the Windjammer. Normally, right now we can't because of COVID, but usually we could go to Windjammer to eat as well. What is one thing you hate and love about being a crew on the ship? I don't think there's anything I truly hate. Probably just being away from home and not being with Coco, my dog, and my family and my friends. I miss them. But my favorite part about being crew member is that your friends on board and your teammates and your coworkers become family. So you become really close with everyone you work with, right? You find your people on board, and it's really nice, and you make really great memories, and also you get to travel, which is an added bonus, so who can complain about that? What is your favorite holiday you've spent on board and why? I think so far New Year's Eve was my favorite holiday that I spent on board because it was just such a fun night. They had a really great party for the crew, and there was a balloon drop, so we actually had to blow up the balloons. I'll link the vlog below, but yeah, it was just really fun. We had shows, and I love getting dressed up, so that was a really fun memory. And also Christmas, because we did Secret Santa with the cast, and we had we were in St. Martin on Christmas Day, so we did a catamaran, which was incredible. Definitely a different Christmas experience than I've ever had before, and it's really fun. Do I have multiple pairs of skates on the ship? I do not. I only brought one pair. I kind of considered buying a second pair as a backup. I only have one pair of skates on board, and I'll probably have to get a new pair once I'm done with this contract because I think I've had those for like 2 years now, 3 years. What's your schedule like on board at sea days compared to days at port? So port days, we never have shows during the day. We might have a show at night, but at sea, we sometimes have like afternoon shows. If it's not a show day, we have other duties like dressing the production show, spotting the production show, or doing all skates. So it just kind of depends on the day. It's hard to say because every day is slightly different, but yeah, we never have a show in the afternoon if we're at a port because the guests are usually off the ship. How is crew life on board now with the new health protocols in place and COVID? That's another thing a lot of people asked. So yeah, it is a little bit different. We do still have shared cabins, so I do have a roommate, obviously Luba, but they got rid of buffet style for eating in the mess and also the windjammer, so it's no longer self-serve. Someone has to serve us our food. We don't really have a lot of crew activities going on right now. Actually, we don't have any crew activities happening. General info opinions on crew mess. Would love to work on a cruise someday, but it's hard to imagine being without my Greek yogurt. So I did just kind of touch on the crew mess, but crew mess is different because it's not as many options as the guests get, but of course, like, we live here, we didn't pay to vacation. But there's always fruit. That's my favorite part, is that there's always fresh fruit. Like the pineapple is to die for. I have it pretty much every single meal. There's always desserts, there's a salad bar, there's always pasta, and then they've got chicken, fish, couple types of potatoes, and then some other things as well. So there's like a variety of foods, and yeah, there are limited hours of when you can go eat. So breakfast is from like 6 to 9, and then lunch is at 11:30 to 2, and then dinner is 6 to 9. But there isn't Greek yogurt, so I have been struggling a little bit because I love eating yogurt parfaits when I'm home, and avocados as well. I am dying without my avocados, and peanut butter. Oh my god, I haven't had peanut butter in 2.5 months and I'm struggling. So that's the 3 things I want: Greek yogurt, peanut butter, and avocados. And iced coffee, because I haven't had iced coffee either. What is my favorite port? I think my favorite port is San Juan, Puerto Rico. I love San Juan so much. We aren't going there on this contract, sadly. Like, breaks my heart because I love it so much. But I went there a ton on my last contract on Allure and found some of my favorite places. I found like some really cute boutiques, some really good coffee places, good places to eat, and just the energy of San Juan itself is so nice and so beautiful, and all the buildings are like colorful and vibrant, and just, I love it. What are storms like on the seas? So they have a radar, so they can kind of predict and detect storms coming from far away, especially if there's like a hurricane or something. We can see it from far away and usually avoid it. But of course, sometimes it does get a little rocky. Sometimes it storms a bit, but I don't have any crazy stories about that. Are the cast numbers in order or random, and are each cast number different on every ship? What was your cast number on your last ship, and the theme of Studio B, is it different on each ship? The cast numbers go in numerical order, so the cast after us will be cast 40, so on and so forth. And it all depends on how long the ship has been going and how long the ice show has been going. So Adventure is an older show than Allure was. That's what I can compare it to. So I was cast 19 on Allure. I'm cast 39 here, but Allure is a newer ship than Adventure and a newer show, so it hasn't been around as long. The theme of Studio B is different on every ship. It looks pretty much the same, like the seating and everything, but the theme of this Studio B is like celestial, and I'm not sure what the theme was on Allure. I can't remember if there even was a theme. What's your favorite thing to do while you are not working? My favorite thing to do when I'm not working is sunbathing or going to the beach, being in the sun. I love being in the sunshine in the Caribbean so much. That's my favorite thing. Did you get a roommate? And how do you function in such tight quarters? Are you allowed to use ship amenities with guests, Or is there areas for staff to swim / get a nice dinner / see a show? I already said it before 2 times, but yes, I have a roommate, Luba. The room feels plenty big for me. We don't really spend like a ton of time in here. If we do, we're just relaxing in our beds anyways, so we don't need a lot of space for activities. And we keep it quite clean, which helps for sure. We have separate areas for like hanging out and stuff, so like there's a crew bar, crew mess of course for eating. We don't have our own pool or anything, like there's no crew swimming pool, but yeah, we have our own crew areas where we can hang out, get fresh air, things like that. And we are also allowed to go to see other shows. How many shows a day? When we have a show day, we have 2 shows back to back. So right now it's been like 8 and 10:15, or 2 and 4:30, or 2 and 4:15 p.m. What does install mean, like when you have an install day? Install means like installation, so rehearsal period basically. It's just a fancy word for rehearsals. So that is when we are rehearsing and learning the entire show. Why do you wear your name tag when it looks like you're on personal time, walking around and having dinner? So if we are out and about in guest areas, we do have to wear our name tag because we are always on watch. If it's after 6 p.m., we have to wear smart casual, and then we have to put our name tag on. For my last question, where does your ship sail to, and do you get shore leave? Once again, right now we don't have shore leave, but we can get off in Coco Cay, so we do get like partial shore leave, which is really nice. All I need is a beach and I'm happy, so I'm content right now. And then as far as where we're sailing, our itinerary is just the Caribbean. We go to Cozumel, Freeport, and Coco Cay, which is the Bahamas. And our home port is Nassau, so yeah. Anyways, that wraps up today's video. I think I answered a lot of questions. I hope I answered a lot of questions. I can always do another one if you guys are interested. But I hope that helped you guys get a better idea of what my life is like on board. As always, thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. And more to come. So, love you guys to the moon and back. Thanks for your support, and I will see you in my next one. Bye, guys. Want to say bye? Bye-bye. Bye-bye.